session. It's me again. I think you probably think, will he ever be quiet? But that's what Toastmasters is all about. That's what DTM means, don't time me. Is that right, Curtis? Anyways, I'm Tom Gillard, and our speaker this afternoon is going to be Dr. Shanta Smith. So please join me in welcoming Shanta.
I'm Dr. Shanta Smith, and I'm the essence of education. And what we're going to do today is because as professional speakers, we always plan and prepare for our speeches. But I had a situation that took place last night and a situation that took place a week ago with some of my students. I'm a professor by trade. I'm an education professor at Southeast Missouri State University. And so one of the things that I always teach my students is about success and what being successful is. So when you hear the phrase and you hear the word, the essence of education, I think sometimes we really don't understand what an education truly affords us. And so when you think about that and you hear that, I want you to really think about what is your essence? What has an education provided for you? And I don't want you to just think about school, because just because you go to school and you get a lot of degrees, and I have a lot of degrees, but when I see an everyday regular person like you, you might say, and what does that mean? So just because you have degrees does not mean you're educated. It's a lot of fluff. You have to know what to do. For example, my grandfather, he has an 8th grade education, but the man is phenomenal. He is just like a guru. He can show you how to save money, invest money, and he can fix anything. And he didn't go beyond 8th grade education. So some people would think, oh, he doesn't know anything because he has an 8th grade education. But he is very successful. And our family is successful as a result of him being a role model for us. So when you hear the words, the essence of education, the essence of education is really the secret to success. Because we hear about these secrets to success, and some of us don't even know how to be successful. But if you think about what your education has afforded you and what it allowed you to do, then you have a better appreciation for what education can bring you. So one of my mentors, and if you're not familiar with this individual, I would encourage you to listen to him. One of my mentors is E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. And Eric Thomas is phenomenal. He is just like amped up all the time. And so I get a lot of my motivation and my inspiration from him, because he always tells me, if you want to be successful, you got to do this thing. You can't go in front of people and just fake it till you make it, because people tell you to fake it till you make it, and if you're faking it, you will never make it. So you don't want to fake it till you make it. You actually want to do this thing. So we're going to listen to him tell us why it's important for us to rise and grind. And actually, I'm going to shrink this so that we can see it in full screen, because when I embedded it, it will not go to full screen. Now we got to be very quiet because I didn't bring any speakers, and the speakers on this is not very loud. This is why we need to rise and grind.
Some of you going to sleep and you don't deserve it, but you don't deserve rest. Lazy, you don't deserve rest. Rest is for people who work. You ain't doing nothing. Every day you chilling. You need to know your why. And my why wakes me up every single morning. You don't get it. Listen to me very closely. You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth. You got to do a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knocked out. At the end of your feelings is nothing. But at the end of every principle is a promise. Find a man who's diligent at what he does, and he shall stand before kings and not mean men. Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up, could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long. The first level to success in life, listen to me, the very first level is you seeing it. Like it's clear to you. Like you know exactly what you want. You know exactly when you want it. Listen to me. You know exactly what it tastes like. You know what it looks like. You know what it smells like. Before you really blow up, and you
you hear E.T. say rise and grind, what does that mean to you? Do you even know or understand, or can you even conceptualize what that is? For some of us, it's easy for us to understand what rise and grind means, but for others, we can't relate to what it is that he's saying. But I just want us to take a brief moment and just really think about that. Really think about what does he mean by rising and grinding. Because when we think about the essence of education, it should make you want to wake up in the morning. I came up with the concept of the essence of education because I literally walk, talk, eat, and breathe education. If you were in my classroom, you will know that I'm serious about education. If you get to know me, you can just see the change in my voice and my facial expressions that I'm serious about education, because education affords each one of us with an opportunity to do great and marvelous things. You are destined for success. And you don't even know it because you don't realize and value the education that you have. My ancestors did not have an opportunity to have an education. So the moment I could conceptualize what an education meant, I understood the importance of what it means. When I have students that come to this country and are in my classroom, and they tell me the struggles and the hardships that they had to go to, I appreciate and respect them more, and it really makes me think about why we live in America. If you have not had the opportunity to travel abroad, I encourage you to do it. It is one of the greatest things you could do in your life. To go to another country, and just for example, in high school I took French. Parlez-vous français? That's about the only thing that I can say. So I always wanted to go to France. I never had the opportunity to go to France. But I tell you, when I was in Paris, oh my God. To go to the Louvre, I'm like obsessed with the Louvre. I just want you to know that I'm obsessed with it, because you think you're like just going to a regular old museum. Hello, no, it is not a regular old museum. It is a palace, okay? Literally a palace. So you like can't visit the museum in one day. It's no way humanly possible. And then I was like so disappointed when I went to see the Mona Lisa. Oh, were you disappointed? No. She wasn't disappointed, but I want to tell you why I was disappointed. Because when you're in school and they teach you about the Mona Lisa, I just thought it was going to be this big, huge painting. So I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going to see the Mona Lisa. This is going to be a beautiful thing. And so me and my friend were just standing there like, I'm like, do you see this? And she's like, yes, do you see this? It was like an 8 by 10 picture of Mona Lisa. And so I'm like, I'm cool and I'm happy because we're there and we get to see the Mona Lisa. But I just was expecting so much more. But when you just go, it's one thing to see it on the television. It's one thing to read about it in a book. But then when you actually get to go, and I had the opportunity to go to Rome to see the Pope, and I'm not Catholic, but I thought it was so cool. I'm like, yeah, we're going to see the Pope. So we went, and we're like waiting for him to come to the window, and we're like waiting, and I'm like, we must have came on the wrong day because the Pope is not coming out. What is going on? But it was just like so totally cool just to be in the Papal Square. I'm like, oh, this is rocking. And then to go to the Coliseum. Oh, yeah, you're like a gladiator. You're like there, you're like there. And I'm like, this is totally cool. And my parents totally thought I was crazy because I'm like calling them, telling them how cool it is, because you get to see the world, appreciate the world, and respect the world, and know what you were learning about. You actually become a part of what it is. So I want you to become a part of your essence. I want you to feel and appreciate the education that you have. I want you to have a total, full understanding of what your education provides you. These simple words on this screen, these simple words, if it were not for an education, you would not be able to read those two words, rise and grind. So if you are sleeping, it is time for you to wake up. Sleep is for suckers. It's just that simple. When you sleep, you dreaming. And it's just a dream. But you need to wake up and make that dream a reality. So I'm going to ask everybody to stand up right now. Stand up. And this is something that I've been doing for 22 plus years. I did it as a middle school teacher, elementary school principal, and now as a collegiate professor. We're going to say this together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This day has been given to me fresh and clear. I can either use it or throw it away. I promise that I will use this day to the fullest, realizing that it will never come back again. I realize that this is my life to use or throw away. I say, are we motivated? You say,
Yes.
motivated. Okay, it took us a little minute to get there, but let's try it again. Are we motivated?
Motivated, motivated, downright motivated. Drive on, Dr. Smith, drive on.
Together, excuses.
Excuses are monuments of nothing that build bridges that lead to nowhere. And those who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothing. Therefore, we do not use excuses.
Task.
Once the task has begun, never leave until it's done. Whether the task be great or small, do it right or not at all.
Let's be seated. Now, I do these two things every day on a consistent basis, and literally every day I do this. And I don't want people to think that I'm crazy, but I think when we look at the poem, each day, when you get to put both of your feet on the ground, when you get out of bed, it is a blessing. And you may say, well, why is it a blessing? Because somebody didn't get to do that. As a matter of fact, some people don't have 2 feet. They don't have 2 legs. So you have 2 feet. So you should be, yes! Hey! All right now. You should be excited. Some of us get upset. We get mad when it's Monday morning and we have to go to work. You should be like, yeah, I get to go to work. Because why? You get a paycheck. A paycheck, okay? I mean, I want us to really think about that. You get a paycheck. Some people don't get a paycheck. You get to, in your house when you wake up, just say we decide that we want to just open the refrigerator. And today we want to have a nice T-bone steak. Well, you can open your refrigerator and thaw out that steak and then bake it or fry it, whatever you want to do. Some people don't get to do that. Your education has afforded you a lot of opportunities. And you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself and really, really get it together. It's time for you to rise and grind to the occasion. When you hear the word grind, that means you really got to be doing something. You should be loving what you do. If you don't love what you do, it is time for you to change that attitude. It really is. It's a mindset. 22 years in the game of education, for me, I don't know about any other educator, if there's an educator in the room, but for me, to be in this game for 22 years, I know I love what I do. Because there's no way in hell, let me say that again, no way in hell that I would be doing something for 22 years if I didn't love what I do. Right. So when I go educate and I have the privilege and honor to educate, it is not a job to me. It comes naturally to me. This thing called education, you wouldn't think that it could equate to speaking, because this is something I do by trade. So it's not a problem. It comes naturally. So when I'm standing in front of an audience or I'm standing in front of students, it's like, yeah, let's get it in. Sometimes they say I'm too hype. I'm like, no, you're not hyping up. Let's get it in. We got to get this thing going, because education is serious business. When you think about where you want to go in life, the direction that you see yourself headed, there are going to be some trials and some tribulations. And I think sometimes we just kind of get discombobulated with trials and tribulations. So what I want to do with you, I'm going to share a story that I share with my undergraduate and my graduate students, because a lot of times people make excuses. They think that we don't have a life. We all have a life. And, you know, I hate to break the bad news to people, but nobody cares that, you know, you had a bad day. When you go to work, they just want to know, can you do the job that I pay you to do? Yes. That's all I want to know. Let me use your purse as an example. So what we need to do, you see this lovely purse here? You need to put stuff in it. And when you get where you got to go, put the baggage down so that you can perform the way you need to perform. Because we all have problems. And if I have problems, do you think I have time to think about your problems? No, because I got my own problems, so I can't worry about your problems. We have to learn how to cope. We have to learn how to push forward and continue to do this thing, because if we don't, we become depressed. And if you get in a state of depression and you're in a rut and you can't get yourself out, you just get in such a bad place. and you're going to struggle to get out of that bad place. So this is an open letter I did to my first year experienced students. I said, one of the greatest things I get to do every day is teach. By far, teaching is the greatest profession. Now, I know some of you respectfully disagree, but I want you to just sit back and think about where you would be if it were not for a teacher. Now, we all have had exceptional teachers and those who should have never been allowed in the classroom.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, they had an impact on your life. Each day, I am blessed with the opportunity to help you walk your journey on being the best that you can be. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you will be successful. Success starts with you. So no matter what your situation or circumstance, you have the power to be the best you can be. A number of you are beginning to embrace your journey. You have a better understanding of what it means to be educated and the value of a liberal arts education. As you plan your career goals and your objectives, you see yourself 5 years down the line living, loving, and enjoying your life. You are willing to make the necessary adjustments, change your mindset, and your current situation. You do not believe in yourself, and sometimes you underestimate your ability. In essence, you already feel defeated, and the journey has just begun. It is time for you to have a different frame of reference. It is time for you to leave the pity party and jump on board to making the rest of your life the best of your life. I want to share a story with you about a young lady that some would say had a very challenging life. Although challenging to some, the young lady thought her life was normal. She felt this way because everyone around her experienced the same thing. And some people, sometimes it was even worse. She grew up on the rough side of town, but she always knew there was something better. Her neighborhood was plagued with drugs, alcohol, gangs, and violence. It was a never-ending cycle of madness. You see, someone today and the next day, they were gone. Either because somebody killed them or they was in the penitentiary. That's real talk. When she was a little bitty girl, she remembers talking to her father about, I'm leaving this place. I'm going to do something with my life because this is not the life that I want to live. But also when she was little, her father was an alcoholic. He was an extreme alcoholic. Then her father's brother was an alcoholic. The baby brother was an alcoholic. The middle brother was an alcoholic. Then if we go to her mother's side of the family, plagued the same thing. But their drug of choice was crack cocaine. So the baby aunt was addicted to crack cocaine. The middle uncle was addicted to crack cocaine. And then the baby uncle was addicted to crack cocaine. And because of all these drugs and alcohol, 2 of her uncles died of cirrhosis of the liver. But through all of this young lady decided at 5 years old that she knew there was something better in life. She knew that she had the ability to do something different. Now, lo and behold, her uncles and her aunts decided to change their mindset, and they finally figured it out that smoking crack and drinking alcohol just don't get it. It's time for me to get my life together. And lo and behold, all of them have gotten their lives together. All of them are drug-free and alcohol-free, and they are doing beautiful things in their lives because they changed their mindset. But as a little girl, she didn't look at, I'm hopeless. I'm not going to be anything. Because I have a lot of family members that are just addicted to all these drugs and alcohol. As a matter of fact, that young lady is standing before you today. So I knew at an early age that it was something in me. I just was different from all the other people. And I used my trials and tribulations to be better. I can remember My father relapsed several times. So I remember the first time he relapsed when I joined the military, because I went to the military following my father's footsteps. I joined the military before I went to college. And so my brother would call me and tell me that I see bird in the refrigerator. I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Because I'm not there, I can't help. But I'm like, I want to be there, but I'm like, no, I gotta do me. Because if I stay here, I'm going to be like everybody else in my neighborhood. And I ain't down on the people in my neighborhood, but I want something better out of life. I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Italy. People in my neighborhood not going to Paris and Italy because they stand on the corner, okay? And they just have a sense of hopelessness. They have given up because of their life circumstances. They didn't understand that each day, like we did their motto, each day, each one of us has an opportunity to do something different. If yesterday was bad, guess what? Yesterday is gone. It's never coming back again. So stop crying over spilled milk. Stop doing it. Get up today and say, today I'm going to do better. Today I'm going to be on top of the world. Today is my day to make the rest of my life the best of my life. And you can't just say it. You have actually got to believe it. You got to know it. Because it's one thing to motivate yourself and inspire yourself and pump yourself up. Yes, you're supposed to do that. Like E.T. said, rise and grind. Get in there and do it. But you got to take action. You got to make it happen. Because it ain't going to happen unless you make it happen. You, not your mama, not your daddy, not your husband, not your wife. You got to make it happen. Nobody else can make it happen for you. So if you're feeling down on yourself, you just need to talk to yourself and pump yourself up and look in the mirror and say, today is going to be a great day. You look good, I look good, we on the same page. Let's go do this thing. Now notice I didn't say nobody else told you look good. You got to look at yourself and say, I look good, I feel good, and walk out there and stretch your stuff. And you got to know, you got to walk with confidence. Good morning, how are you today? Give him a spark. Yes, I like that handshake, great handshake. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. And you got to know that other people are looking at you. You don't know the joy that you bring to other people. You don't even know that sometimes. Dr. Hillcourt and I had the opportunity to work at the same university, and one of the things we would tell each other all the time, we speak to people. I don't care if you speak to me. People think I'm crazy because I would just say, good morning. Good morning. How are you today? What's wrong with this lady? I know you heard me speak to you. Exactly. You just told me not to speak, but you're going to acknowledge that I spoke. But you know, just like he just smiled, just like you smiled, they were having a bad day. So you know how people just be like, good morning. No, good morning. Help pump them up. We're doing this thing together. You inspire me, I inspire you. You push me, I push you. Then we can experience this thing called success. So now you understand what an education is. You kind of value it, but now you got to take a look at how can you get to success. So write these 5 things down, because in order to get to your destiny, and in order to even understand and appreciate success, these are 5 things that we all need to work on and figure out. Because if we haven't figured it out, it's time for you to figure it out so that you can experience success. So the first one is, who am I? And I think sometimes we ourselves don't know who we are, because we don't take the time ourselves to really sit down, reflect, and think about just our essence, just our being. Because people pretty much tell you, that you really shouldn't talk about yourself. You really shouldn't highlight yourself. Well, if you don't highlight and shine yourself, who's going to do it for you? Exactly. It's not being arrogant. You're supposed to feel good about yourself. One of my nephews, he's 11 years old, and I promise you, the boy is bad. And not bad in a bad way. He is bad in a good way. It's in his genes automatically, okay? Because he comes from good stock, okay? Now, I'm taking some of that credit. He didn't come from my womb, but you might believe he came from my womb, because I promise you, when you see this little boy, he is me all over. Walk, talk, eat the same thing, because I'm blessed, because my brother and my sister-in-law allow me to have constant opportunities with my nephew to help shape and help mold him. At 11, he understands the importance of an education. He is a scholar athlete, basketball, karate, soccer. I don't have to say it. The stats show it. So when people try to say something, I just be like, well, that ain't what the stats say. You know, I'm just trying to tell you he's a great kid. You don't have to believe me. I mean, you can go talk to all his teachers. You know, I just think as his TT, as he calls me, as his TT, I'm supposed to be pumping him up. Because he's going into a mad world, and the world's not going to pump him up. They're going to try to shoot him down. So I want to put a mindset in him early on that you have a gift. And each one of you sitting there here today, you have a gift. And it is your responsibility to share your gift, not keep it in. That's selfish. So you got to figure out, who am I? Where am I from? Some of us don't have any idea. You got to know your history. Know your culture. Appreciate who you are. Appreciate the moment that you are in so that you can be able to move forward. So sometimes you got to take a look back. But you don't want to stay back there. You just kind of want to look at the history, the writing on the wall, so that you can move forward. And then you move to, why am I here? Do you know why you're here? Do you understand your purpose? At 5 years old, when I hold a conversation with my father today, he remembers at 5 years old, that's in kindergarten. I looked him dead in the eye and I told him, it's gotta be something better than this. I don't want to be here. 5. I knew at 5. Then I had another epiphany at 12 when my mother put me in the voluntary desegregation program, and I had the opportunity to go to school with people from all different cultural groups. So I just wasn't with my cultural group. I actually learned at an early age how to intermingle and interact with people from all over the world. So when I had the opportunity to go to Paris, and when I had the opportunity to go to Italy, it really wasn't a big thing. I could just be like, how are you today? Let's talk about the Mona Lisa. Because I'm culturalized. But a number of people don't have those opportunities. Then we go to, what can I do? What are you good at? What do you constantly find yourself doing over and over and over again? And some of us run away from it. We scared. We be like, oh Lord, I don't want to do this. But you do it. This is something you're great at, something you're good at, something that just comes naturally. Education for me comes naturally. I believe each one of us has the ability to be the best that we can possibly be. If I am at my best, you will be at your best. If I'm not at my best, I can't stand in front of a classroom or stand in front of an audience and tell you anything, because I'm not giving you my best. You have to bring your A game when you're doing this thing, whatever that thing may be. Your thing might not be education. Your thing might not be speaking. It might be cooking. For example, the holidays are coming up, and my aunt, no biases to anybody in the audience, but my aunts, especially you, Dr. Hill-Quarter, no shade, but I'm just letting you know off tops, my aunt makes the best peach cobbler ever in history, okay? It's just going down. It's the best peach cobbler. It's so good that we like have arguments. I'm serious, because some other family members, I'm like, stop it. Stop it. Don't destroy what we have going on. We have a good thing going on here, okay? The peach cobbler, people are fighting to get to the peach cobbler, because once it's gone, it's gone. So you want to destroy what we got going on because you want to make peach cobbler. Nobody wants to eat your peach cobbler. Nobody wants to eat your peach cobbler. So if somebody decides, because my aunt tries to be politically correct, so if somebody decides that they want to make the peach cobbler, she lets them make the peach cobbler, and then she'll just come to me and all the other cousins and say, I will have a special one for you all. And we're like, yeah! Because we want your peach cobbler. You don't want your peach cobbler. Now, your peach cobbler is good. I don't want you to think it's not good, because Dr. Hill-Quarter's peach cobbler is good. But it's just not my auntie's peach cobbler. So you know how you just got that special thing that you want that is just great? That's success. So if it's good, if it's great, why destroy it? Why do something else? Then finally, where am I going? Do you have any direction? Do you have a set destination of where it is that you want to go to? Do you even know how you're going to get there? So when you map this thing out, if you don't, now is the time for you to figure it out. There is time. Dr. Hill Carter talked in her discussion. There is time. I don't care if you 23 or 103. There is still time. 60 and 70 is like the new 40, okay?
Right.
Because people in their 60s and 70s are rocking it, okay? They looking better than the young folk, doing it better than the young folk, can outrun them, out-talk them, outdo anything. So we got to understand, it's later for saying, oh, I'm just too old, I'm retired, I don't have time to do that, I just have too much on my plate. No, you have time to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Yes.
But it's up to you. You are in control. Nobody else is in control. If you ever need a story to think about my story. My mother's side, my father's side. And I lived in a drug-infested, gang violence territory neighborhood when I grew up. But I was like a horse. So, you know, I don't know those black things that they put on a horse so that the horse will stay focused. I was focused. I was focused. I don't care. You died today, so sorry. I ain't finna die, okay? Nothing personal. I'm focused. I'm getting out of here. Because there's something better. But lo and behold, one of the greatest things that I decided to do was when I went to school, went to the military, did all those great and fabulous things, I told my dad, you know what? I'm going to move back in our community. My brother thought I was crazy. He's like, you're out of your mind. Why do you want to move back in this community? Because I was like, you know what? Because if everybody leaves, nobody will be there for them to see, to understand, to conceptualize. Some of you might think I'm crazy, but I just think when you think about it, if you go back historically, in any neighborhood in America, before people start moving to all other places, I could go next door and it was two parents in a home. Two parents in a home. If I had a problem, I could talk to you. If I did something bad, you wouldn't wait till mom and dad came home. You would give me right then and there. And then you would take me to mom and dad and say, let me tell you what she did. I got her, but you finna get her too. So the community was connected. The community was together. So I decided to rehab a home in my community. And my brother that talked all that noise, he helped rehab it too. He talked all that noise, but he helped rehab it. Just to be a living, walking testament that you can do it too. It's too easy. It's too easy to fail, and it's too easy to be successful. You got to use those hills and valleys and molehills that you go through to just push and just keep going. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I might make it look easy. It's not easy. How would you like to come? I remember one day I'm driving up, and this is when I'm grown, so I think I'm working on my master's degree now. This is a funny story, too. So my dad is pissy, stone, drunk, out of his mind. I'm like, what is this man doing? He's trying to break in the basement window. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't find my key. I'm like, so, you're going to break in the house in broad daylight where people can see you break in your own house. That's really smart. So, I had the key, so I let my dad in, and I just lay him on his side so he can go to sleep. And then I decided, why don't I have my master's degree in drug and alcohol therapy? I wonder why. I wonder why. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use my dad. Dr. Hill Carter, I use my dad for my practicum experience. And my dad would literally get mad at me. He would be like, this is not going to work. I am your father. How can you provide me with counseling? I'm like, you need some therapy, okay? This therapy is free and I get to practice. So practice with me and maybe we can help each other. But no, I never looked down upon my father. My father is just he is my rock. He is my rock, and I literally mean that. Pissy drunk, it didn't make a difference to me as a little girl. I don't care how drunk he was my dad. And I wanted to see my dad. And I just used his struggle because it's obvious that something in his life wasn't quite right. But I used his struggle and his trials and his tribulations to propel and excel. So the great thing, my father, I think he's the black sheep of the family. We all have a black sheep in the family. But the cool thing about my dad that I like seeing my dad do is when my dad goes anywhere, it doesn't make a difference. If I come to visit him when he's at work, he'll come up to you and he'll say, "This is my daughter, Dr. Shanta Smith." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't really care, but hey," I'll be like, "Yes, I'm Dr. Smith." You don't have to say that, Dad, but no, he says, "This is Dr. Smith." So that lets me know that my dad is proud of who I have become and some of the things that he probably didn't have the opportunity to do because he didn't value his education. He didn't understand how successful he could be because he has an opportunity each and every day. I do it for him. I also do it for my grandmother because she does the exact same thing. She's so impressed that I'm a professor now, she'll be like, "No, tell them what you do. Tell them what you do." Just imagine my 88-year-old grandmother, "Tell them what you do. Tell them what you do." And I'm just like, I'm a professor. Yes, she is a professor. At what school? I have to tell them the whole thing. And I'm like, "Grandma, we really don't have to do all this." And she's like, "Yes, we do." Okay? So that's what I mean by you don't know and you don't understand the lives that you touch. So at any given moment, at any time, if there is anything that I ever need, I can turn to my left and turn to my father, and I can turn to my right and turn to my grandmother, because you need some people in your corner. So anything that I do, any opportunity, when I have opportunities to go overseas, and when I was younger and my money was short, I could just say, "Okay, I don't want to do it," but I would call my grandmama, and I would call my dad, and I would be like, "I need you to help me." And they would help me. They would help me. I would pay them back. And they would be like, "Baby, you ain't got to pay me back." And I was like, "No, that's not how you raised me. I just need you to help me get over this hump. But we going to do this together." So you got to learn how to celebrate together as well and walk into this thing called success. So your essence, your education allows you to be successful. You were destined for greatness. You are made and shaped in his image. So you are already a success. I want you to think about those words that I just said. You are shaped and made in his image. So how could you not be successful? So we have to think about, how do you define success? What does success look like to you? Because what success looks to you looks different to me. It's totally different. Because each one of us is walking a different path. But you want to be able to embrace, respect, appreciate the journey that you are on. So let's take a look at how do we get to this thing called success. So E.T. says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Do I have any military people in the audience? Anybody in the military? Well, you can relate to this story when we was in basic training. You know when they putting the gas on you. So you go in the gas chamber, you got your gas mask on, they release the gas, and then they tell you to crack that seal. You really don't want to crack the seal because you ain't going to be able to breathe. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't going to be able to breathe. It's not a happy feeling. Just let me tell you that. So you kind of just standing there like, you trying to hold your breath, thinking if you hold your breath, that you're going to be able to breathe some air in if you hold your own breath. How stupid is that? But that's what you think. You like, but no, let me out of here. I want to breathe. That's what you're thinking. Please, can we get through this? And then finally, when you get out of the room and you get in the air, you're like, yes, thank you. Thank you. You can breathe. Now, at that very moment, when we were in that chamber, we weren't thinking about nothing else. You was thinking about breathing. You was thinking about air. So compare that to what it is that you want to become, what it is that you want to do. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then and only then will you be successful. This thing we call life is not a game. You got to be very strategic at it. You got to know how to maneuver through the system. You have to know your role. You have to know how to play this thing we call life. Because if you don't, you'll get stuck and you'll get left behind. So there are different periods and different points when we go through this thing called success. You want to be able to move from being good to great to phenomenal. So going from good to great to phenomenal. Everybody in this room, we are good. We all are good. Because you were blessed when you were put to this earth. You were all automatically good. But you want to move from being good to go to being great, to go to being phenomenal. So I'm going to give you an example. We're going to look at Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Now, some people like LeBron, some people don't like LeBron. Some people like Kobe, some people don't like Kobe. Some people like Mike, some people don't like Mike. It doesn't make a difference whether you like them or don't like them. They are phenomenal. Well, Dr. Smith, no! The stats. We're talking facts here. So this is not our opinion. This is a fact. All three of those men are phenomenal. But they went from being good, transition to being great, transition to being phenomenal, because they understood what they brought to the table. They understood the value, education, basketball, that's their education. I'm going up against the greats. I can't be good going up against a great, because they're going to shut me down. They had enough sense to understand that. They had enough sense to be able to conceptualize that. So no, they're not being arrogant. People think Kobe Bryant is arrogant. Really? Really? Is he really arrogant? Or is he really just reiterating to himself that I'm the man? Really? We're getting mad at him, but he's proved to us that he is the man. And if you can't relate to Kobe, Mike, and LeBron, then let's think about Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and Oprah Winfrey. Let's take a look at them. And all of them the same. Phenomenal. They started at a certain point. They understood what education meant. They valued that education. They appreciated that education. And they said, I have a gift. I have something to share with the world. I can do something to make this place a better place. And they went out and they did. Now, did they have trials and tribulations? Did they have struggles along the way? We all do. And you can use all of them as examples. Oprah Winfrey grew up poor from Mississippi. She had no idea that she was, just think about it. Anybody that has been on Oprah Winfrey's show is an automatic success. Anybody. It's called the O factor. Anybody that goes on her, they immediately become a success. Oprah understands her power and her influence. She understands her purpose. She can identify what it is that she needs to do in order to be successful. Because if she's successful, others are going to be successful. She is not selfish. Now, some of us might disagree and say, well, she could be doing this and she could be doing that. No, she could be doing what she wants to do because that's Oprah. Because we a lot of times, we want to tell other people what they need to be doing, what they should be doing. What should you be doing? Stop worrying about what somebody else should be doing and worry about what it is that you need to be doing. As I bring it to a close, as you see, I never ever get through all of my slides. I want you to think about the lion and the gazelle. And you might say, what do the lion and the gazelle have in common? They have something in common indeed. It is a must. Every day, when a gazelle wakes up, it has to make a decision on which way it's going to run. Every day, the lion wakes up. It has to make a decision on which way it's going to run to get that gazelle. It doesn't make a difference if you choose to be a lion or a gazelle. Every day you wake up, you better be running. Look at the lion. Look at the face on the lion. The lion is ready to get a gazelle. The lion is like, yes, I'm finna eat you. The gazelle is like, okay, which way do I go? Because if I don't move, if I just stand here, he's going to get me quicker. So I got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. But every day that you wake up, you better be running. This is your life. It's nobody else's life. It's your life. You got to take ownership of your life. You got to walk, talk, eat, and breathe this thing. You got to appreciate yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to honor yourself. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror. Like I said, you can do this thing. Everybody get on your feet. Everybody on your feet. On your feet. On your feet. Get on your feet like you want to be on your feet. Repeat after me. I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
I must.
I must.
Again, I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
I must.
I must.
One more time. I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
I must.
I must.
You can do it. You will do it. You must do it if you want your life to be the best life. Nobody else can do it for you. Again, I provided you with several examples. You can use me as an example. One of the greatest things that I did, and I listened to several people because I didn't never think I would be able to do it. As a matter of fact, it was never something I wanted to do. And Dr. Hill Carter is one of those people that helped me do it because I write a lot. And everybody's like, why don't you write a book? I'm like, look, I don't have time. I'm not trying to write a book. You can write a book. My grandmother told me you must write a book. And then guess what? I'm looking at you because you look like my daddy. My daddy said you will write a book. And so because of those individuals that encouraged me and planted a seed, I said, well, how done? I'm just going to do it. Now, Dr. Hill Carter is going to pass you a piece of paper every Monday. And I've been doing this since 2011. If you need some words of encouragement, some words of wisdom, some words of inspiration, every Monday morning I send out inspirational words. And if you are interested in getting on the email list, sign up and I will send it to you to just lighten up your Monday. Because when we go to work on Monday, some days we just don't want to be there. So I try to inspire you. I try to feed your mind so that you can be the best that you can possibly be. So again, say, I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
I must.
I must.
Again, I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
I must. Give
I
yourself
must.
a round of applause. I appreciate you. I respect you. I honor you. I believe you. And I don't even know who you are. But I promise you, I know that you have the will. I know that you have the diligence to be the best that you can possibly be. You just have to believe that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I am no different than you, and you are no different than me. Believe it, and you can achieve it. I'm Dr. Shanta Smith, the Essence of Education. Thank you.